I'll be speaking on silent departure. Silent departure. If we choose to be rigid and we choose not to change, then we may end up seeing God leaving us quietly. You will suddenly discover that God is doing a lot of things, yet you are not involved. There are many people who do not even fit into what God is doing currently. God have moved past them because they are not, because they are rigid and they are not willing to change. Peter was very rigid to his old doctrines. Even when new instructions came from the Lord, it was hard for him to blend into it because he was so careful not to be doing the wrong thing. Suddenly, God began to do something new through Paul, the man that was flexible and not too rigid. A man may still be around doing something for God, yet God will be doing something new around him without involving him. May you not be left out in the current move of God. Some are still in the ministry, but they are not fitting into what God is doing because God has quietly left them. Be flexible before God so that you will fit into what God is doing part time. Now, when we say be flexible does not mean that you should flow, you should flow in worldly direction. It does not mean you should flow with worldly trends. It simply means that you should be in tune with the Spirit of God. You should be in tune with spiritual trends. You should be aligned with what God is doing part time. Check your life. Do you fit into what God is doing? You see some people, they are so rigid. They want to stick to something very old, and it's not bad to stick to something. Are you there? But we must also be careful to know when God is doing something new. God is not static. Are you there? There are many manifestations of the Spirit that were not available in the times of old that we see now. Are you there? But those new manifestations of the Spirit of God will not bless you if you are too rigid. It will not bless you if you are not flexible. If you are not flexible, you won't fit into the current move of God. You will still be in ministry, still be preaching, but you will not be a blessing. Why? Because you are no longer flowing with the current spiritual flow. I pray that we will not be left out in the move of God in the name of Jesus. It is possible for God to leave a man quietly. Yes, it is possible. It's not like God will not use the man, but God will not be able to use the man in full measure. Why? Because he has become too rigid. When something is rigid, if you try to bend it, it will break. So because of God's love, he will not want to break you so that you will not be destroyed. So he will leave you and walk with another person that is more flexible in his hand. May you not be too hard for God to bend in the name of Jesus.